Hi, I'm Cheryl. We're going to make what I've come to think of as my Dancing on the Sun card, and you can see why. My little dancer's there. She just looks so happy, doesn't she? And we'll be using the Beautiful You stamp set. Be using the dancer. We'll be wishing you brighter days to come. And life may not be the party we had hoped for stamp from this set. We'll also need our layering circle framelit dies because we're going to be making stencils today to use on this. And some snail, some stamping dimensionals. And yes, I have my little scissors out. We're going to be doing some fussy cutting. You'll need some stamping sponges. The inks we're using are Daffodil Delight, Peekaboo Peach, Flirty Flamingo, and Melon Mambo, and also Rose Red and our black Memento ink stamp pad. You want a piece of scrap paper. So we'll be doing sponging too. We're going to be doing all kinds of messy stuff today. You need a piece of scrap cardstock. You want to cut a circle out from that, and that's the second from the largest circle in the layering circles framelits dies, just the plain circle, not the scalloped one. And then keep the part you cut out and the part you cut from. And then from a piece of paper that's about 5 inches wide, I cut this stencil, and I just took something big and round, and at the bottom it's about 1/8 of an inch wide and about, what is that? It's about 2 inches wide at the top part here. So just find, I don't know, a pizza pan or something like that. It's got to be something that's a really big circle. And you make yourself a stencil from that. I didn't show how to make these stencils because I figured you could probably figure this out on your own. But if you want me to, I'll make a video showing how I did this. Just leave a comment below. And our papers. We need a piece of Whisper White that's 5.5 by 8.5. That's our card base. And scored and folded at 4 1/4. We need a piece of Whisper White, again 5 by 3 3/4. We'll need a little piece of it, 3.5 by 3. We'll be stamping our little dancer on that. So let me leave that out. We'll use that first. And then a piece of rose red cardstock, 5 1/4 by 4. That will layer on here like this on the card front. So let's get our little dancer stamped here. Now, you see me using blocks sometimes that aren't exactly optimal. This just because I don't have the proper size. This is obviously way too big for this stamp. But, you know, sometimes you have to make do with what you have. I am starting to replace all of these from getting the blocks from Stampin' Up because they are really nice. So, okay, that looks like that's inked up pretty good. Let's stamp our little dancer on there. And it doesn't have to be anywhere particular on the paper because remember, I got my scissors out. We're going to fussy cut this out. Okay, and there's my dancer. And get rid of the Memento ink for the moment. And we'll get our rose red ink out. Give that a little squeeze. And we've got ourselves a nice little puddle there. We're going to color in her hat and her dress. There is a stamp that comes with this that you could just stamp the dress. It gives it a very painterly look to it. But I didn't want it. I wanted to have her dress all colored in. And you don't have to be real crazy about it. You know, a watercolor look is good, right? Just want to color that in. I went over the line a little bit. That's okay because we're going to be fussy cutting it. And we'll color her hat in. And remember, when the ink dries, it does dry a little bit lighter than what the colors you're putting down. Let's see, let me scribble that off. Clean my brush up. And we can cut her out. Let me just get rid of some of this extra paper here. Right off the bat. And we're going to that wasn't a mistake. We're going to be cutting this off. So let's start right there. And just cut on the outside of the lines a little bit. And turn your paper as you go. You'll find that'll help a lot with this fussy cutting. I'm just loving this stamp set. This one and the Dragonfly Dreams. I have so many cards made up to make videos out of. It's unbelievable. There's a lot of different techniques going on in this card. There's the watercoloring on the dress here. Fussy cutting. We're going to be sponging. Stampin' Up! Has really outdone themselves, I'm telling you, on these new stamp sets they've got out. There's another one, it's So Succulents. I haven't gotten that one yet. That's going to be on my next order. And then I noticed I seem to not have very much in the way of birthday greetings. So they have some really nice birthday sets in there too. I'm definitely going to have to get the one with the hot air balloons on it. I can't remember what it's called. Get rid of that. Almost done here. I could have probably done this ahead of time too and not made you watch this. But I spared you from having to watch me make the stencils, so. Okay, that's good enough. Alright, so we've got her done. And we'll just put her aside for now. She can dance over here by the sponges. And we'll pull in our piece of Whisper White. It's 5 by 3 and 7 and 3/4. The first thing we're going to do, we'll sponge the center of the sun. And let's see, I want it about halfway onto the paper. So we've got that there. If you want, you can tape it down. I think I might. I've got my grungy pieces of masking tape right here. I'll just stick them on there. So we'll start with our Daffodil Delight. And oh geez, I've got sparkles on there. I was glittering the other day. I'm still, I don't know, there's like glitter from one end of my house to the other. And just start out on the paper and start bringing it in. And remember, start light. Always start light with your sponging. You can always add more color. We don't want the sun itself to be too bright, and we're going to leave it, see, right in the center here. I've left it, actually I left that white, so I've just put the yellow around the edge here. Oh, I should have my paper in here. Let me get my paper in here before I go any further. Alright, so we can take this off. And we have our little sun there. And we're going to take our circle that we cut out, and we're going to line that right up with there. And how am I going to do this? I think I'll tape the sponge there, and just temporarily I'll put a piece of tape up there to hold the paper. And we're going to keep going with our yellow. Start out at the bottom. Now this time we want a lot more color here. Okay. And go up with that, oh, maybe about an inch. I have my ink pads all stamped. They're set up here in the right colors. Then we'll go to our Peekaboo Peach next. And that also has glitter in it. What the heck? The heck was I doing? Let's bring that in. There's some peach there. And this is just going to be a background for the rays of our sun. More of that. Overlap them so they kind of blend together a bit. Okay, so we're right about the top of our piece of our sun there. And we're switching to Flirty Flamingo. And we need a new sponge. Always good to start out with a clean sponge. And oh, that moved a little. There we go. I'll just hold it with my finger just to make sure. I still like to daub that and get that worked into my sponge real good. So I guess I'm going to make a mess anyway. So we'll go up with that, about an inch. And then we'll switch to our Melon Mambo. This is such a pretty color. I think this year is the last year they have that. Let me work that in there. The Melon Mambo, that's in one of the in color sets. It'd be sad to see this go. I'm glad when I got my ink pads, I made sure I got the re-inkers at the same time. It's always a good idea to do when you buy ink pads. If you can do it, get the re-inkers at the same time. Okay, now we can take that off. And we need our sun ray. Now, what in the world did I do with it? Well, this is quite the dilemma. Did I cover it? No. Not there. Huh. Well, darn, I just had that thing. What did I do with it? Maybe I'll see it on the floor. And that is a very important part of my card. Huh. I just had it. I showed you guys the sizes. Well, this is terrible. Let me grab a piece of paper here. And a pair of scissors. And I'll just real quick. See, you're going to get to learn now how I made this. Except this time I'm just gonna wing it. And about 1/8 of an inch there. There we go. This may not look exactly like the original card, but that's okay. We'll all get over it, right? Okay. Let me get the Melon Mambo out of here. I just can't imagine what I did with that. And then I used the Daffodil Delight to sponge in those sun rays. So we'll get that out. Luckily I didn't lose my Daffodil Delight too. And dab that off. And I think I want that a little smaller towards the sun. And just set that on there and you want quite a bit of color here because you want this to show up really well against the background that we've already sponged. Okay, there's one, and we'll just move this over. My other one would have definitely been a lot better. This is just a piece of paper. The other one was made out of cardstock. And we'll do one over here. But it's working. As soon as I'm done with the video, I know I'm going to find that stencil one I made. One down here. Oops. You see how flimsy this is? Plain old paper is just not the best thing to be using. Sometimes you have to do as I say, not as I do. And let's see, we'll put one over here too. And there. Alright, that's done. You don't need any of the stencils anymore. And get rid of that. Wave that around a little bit, dry it off. And luckily I have my diaper wipes handy. I'll wipe that up. I don't make a big mess. Okay, so now we can stamp some of our sentiments. Let's start with the card base. On the inside of the card, I used the one that says, "Life may not be the party we had hoped for." I used that on the inside. So let me ink that up. We'll give the card front there a little chance to dry before I stamp on that one. And let's see, about an inch or so down from the top and centered side to side, straight down. Hold for a few seconds and straight up. And that's a nice impression. That's all I've done with the inside of the card. If you want to stencil a little bit in there or put a little dancer in there, that'd be nice too. And we'll get this piece and our wishing you brighter days to come stamp. And stamp that up here. There we go. That looks good. Get rid of that ink. We'll need our dimensionals. Oh, let's put it on. These pieces together first. Let's get the snail next. You just snail that up and put that down on the piece of rose red cardstock. You'll have about 1/8 of an inch showing all the way around. And then that gets attached. Oh, darn it. Look what I did. The sentiment should be this way. Oh well. You know what? Let me real quick grab another card base. Okay. Some days when I'm watching videos or just can't think of anything else to do, I'll get a bunch of these card bases ready. I know I'm going to use the Whisper White a lot. So I just make up a whole bunch of them. Okay. There we go. Now it's correct. So those things happen, right? I could have maybe done a pop-up or something there, but what the heck. Everybody makes mistakes, right? You know you're a true craftsman when you can fix your mistakes. And then this gets centered on the card front. Let's see. There we go. That looks good. And now we'll get our dimensionals. We're going to pop this little girl up here. Let's see, put one there. I'll put one there. And I need like a half of one. There's one already cut there. I need like a half of one up here on her head and body. Peel those off. If you give it a little poke with your thumbnail, it kind of helps to get the backing popped up so you can get a hold of it. Then we're going to take her, and her foot is going to line up right with the bottom edge of the card, and then you want her kind of centered on the sun. We don't want our girl falling off. And there we go. And the sentiment going the right way. How about that? Well, if you'd like to shop with me, you can do that either through my website or my Facebook page. If you like this card, then please hit the like button. If you'd like to subscribe to my videos and see more of them, I've got a lot more cards made up. I just have to make the videos for them. Be sure to hit the subscribe button so you're notified. And y'all take care, stay safe, and happy stamping.